Hello everyone and welcome back to Affinity for Commander. My name is Alex and today we answer the very important question, what if Urza was gruel? As always, if you're liking any of the cards I'm going to be talking about here or even want to purchase a full deck list for yourself, then be sure to use our affiliate links in the description box below. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but really helps the channel out a lot. Now let's get into this colour pie breaking elf. Meria, Scholar of Antiquity, is a legendary elf artificer for 1 generic, 1 red, and 1 green mana. She's a 3/3 and reads: tap an untapped non-token artifact you control, add green. Tap 2 untapped non-token artifacts you control, exile the top card of your library. You may play it this turn. Now, the most obvious comparison that everyone and everyone's cat has made is between Meria and Urza, Lord High Artificer, as both have a top ability that allows them to tap artifacts for mana, and a second ability that generates them card advantage. The big difference here being that Meria needs her artifacts to be non-token, and Urza's second ability just requires colorless mana, with no tapping of artifacts. But for Meria's ability, we do get to know the top card of our library is through anything like scrying, whereas Urza forces you to shuffle it beforehand. So, swings and roundabouts. However, we are cut off from blue, which is the primary artifact tutoring colour. But that doesn't stop us building the most filthy deck you've seen this side of Dominaria. So let's get to it. To start off with, we've got quite a few 0 mana artifacts to take advantage of Mariah Carey's mana generating ability. Herbal Poultice can be used to regenerate our mana should anyone decide to board wipe or harm our mana producing elf. Mishra's Bauble, both good in modern and still good here for drawing a card, but also can be used to tap for mana. And Everflowing Chalice, which we can just pay 0 for and tap the chalice with our commander. We've also got 2 0 mana artifact creatures in Ornithopter and Phyrexian Walker. Something important to remember here is that these artifacts can obviously be tapped with Maria's ability, but can also be used to generate card advantage by exiling the top card of our library. So the more artifacts we have, the better. Moving on to the 1-drop slot, we've also got some mana dorks to help cast all the cards from the top of our library in Elvish Mystic, Llanowar Elves, and Birds of Paradise. And since our general is quite key to our strategy of ramping and playing everything from the top, cards like Tamio's Safekeeping and Veil of Summer are super needed to keep our elf lady safe. And of course, being able to manipulate the top card of our library here is kind of essential, so something like Sensei's Divining Top will help increase the consistency of our deck massively. At the 2-drop slot, we've got more mana producers in Gruel's Signet, Mind Stone, and Liquid Metal Coating, with the coating being able to turn anything else into a mana producer as well as some other artifacts that might get some hate. Howling Mine lets us draw additional cards while we can tap it to prevent other opponents from drawing as well. Isochrome Scepter, which can have any spell we want, 2 CMC or less imprinted on it, but personally I like to go for things like Artifact Mutation being imprinted on it to really ruin any other artifact player's day. Or just have something like Veil of Summer to give us protection and a cantrip each turn. And also Winter Orb, a very salt-inducing card, which we don't really care about given that most of our mana producing will be coming from artifacts. Artifacts like Winter Orb. At this point in the mana curve, it's time to point out our lovely combo in the deck to actually help us, win. Seeker of Skybreak allows us to untap a creature, and with any mana producer that we talked about earlier, like Elvish Mystic, this enables us to get additional green mana from the elf. But by equipping the Seeker with something like Illusionist's Braces and doubling up their ability, we can untap both the Mystic and the Seeker themselves, thus netting us 1 green mana and being right back where we started to repeat to get as much mana as we want. But what to do with all this mana, I hear you ask? Well, personally, I'd go with Walking Ballista to machine gun the table, and they're also an artifact, so great synergies there. But Comet Storm is also something we're running, because redundancy in cards is important, children. Moving on to the 3 CMC slot, we've got more ramp, but it's not artifact based in Kodama's Reach and Cultivate. Back to formula, however, with Commander's Sphere and Foundry Inspector. To help cast these now cheapened artifacts, Shimmer Mia lets us cast these with Flash, all set up for our own turn. And then we've also got cards like Sculpting Steel, who can be whatever we need in that moment, be it more ramp or just an additional Howling Mine for more card draw. And Scrap Trawler lets us get back any of our lower CMC artifacts when we eventually sack that Commander Sphere for the card or have to block with the Inspector. We've also got 2 pieces of the best removal Gruul has to offer in Beast Within and Chaos Warp. We are wanting to win in a hurry, but destroying literally any permanent will also let us not die too soon. Speaking of not dying, it's going to be rather hard for players to kill us with Static Orb out, which we'll be wanting this orb tapped during our own turn and then untapping it in our opponent's, which can be accomplished with our first 4-drop in Unwinding Clock, which not only has good synergy with the orb, but also lets us use M to the E to the Ria's ability in other people's turns, to maybe be able to get an instant from the top, or just get rid of stuff we don't need. And to get more value out of the clock, we've got other artifacts like Solemn Simulacrum, because being able to tap the Saddler for mana is just hilarious to me. Jorya's Familiar makes all of our artifacts and legends 1 generic cheaper, and Mystic Forge is a great card when paired with our General, as if we know what the top card of our library is, then we'll be able to use her second ability way more reliably. And should we need card draw or to return specific artifacts, then Duretti's Scrap Savant is a great means of rummaging through our deck and also grabbing back our key cards. Now the last 2 cards I want to talk about at this slot are Decimate and Chain Reaction. Decimate is honestly a card that always overperforms. Getting rid of 4 permanents for 4 mana is insane, and the reaction is probably the Red's best board wipe outside of Blasphemous Act. It's 4 mana and will usually just destroy every creature on the board. Now, weirdly, we only have 2 5-drops, but both are kind of silly. Blinkmoth Urn is a mana producer that we are going to be taking full advantage of by having a trigger in our turn, and then tapping it with our commander, so now no one else gets that sweet, sweet colorless mana. And the other card is Kuldrotha Forgemaster, a card that not only combos super well with Scrap Trawler, but also is a solid artifact shooter, being able to grab us any artifact from our deck we might need at any time. Beyond these, the only other cards we have at the top are All Is Dust, a lovely coloured permanent board wipe that shouldn't really hurt us too much with the amount of artifacts we are running. And finally, should your budget allow, Ugin the Spirit Dragon, a walker that does a good impression of All Is Dust, and himself bolts whatever we want. And considering how much mana we'll be able to generate, landing him turns earlier is going to be super easy. Minus whatever Ugin is necessary, reset the board, and go from there with all of our artifacts untouched and a recurring bolt every turn. Just lovely. But after these cards, what do we do with all this mana? Well, there are a lot of options that I'm going to present, and it's very much dealer's choice, but these are my personal, underrated favourites. Hellkite Tyrant helps steal our opponent's artifacts to generate more advantage with our Scholar's abilities, and has the lovely option of being an alternative win condition, as most of our deck is artifacts. Hellkite Igniter, meanwhile, is just a massive flyer that can, for 2 mana, get really big, since we'll have a lot of artifacts out to utilise their ability, which, pro tip, can be activated multiple times to get +X+O repeatedly. Now, away from dragons into golems, Triplicate Titan and Phyrexian Triniform are 2 massive beatsticks who, on death, spread their power out, with the Titan being able to come back and do it again. And here I'd also put in Metalwork Colossus, a card that should realistically cost little mana and come down early to hit really hard. Now we're going to be taking a look at the lands. There are quite a few unique ones that will make a massive difference for our Renegade Artificer. Inventor's Fair can act as a lovely artifact shooter when we don't need the mana anymore. Buried Ruin can grab back from the grave any artifacts that we need that may have been sacrificed or destroyed. And Keswick Wolf Run is a great means of putting all that mana we have to good use. And people always forget it's just target, not permanent you control. Activate on one of your opponent's big creatures when they're attacking someone else. It's hilarious and no one ever sees it coming. Beyond these, I've also included Temple of Abandon and Zalfarin Void. Two cards that let us know what the top card of our library is going to be, thus making our general's ability a little bit less of a gamble. Now moving on past the obvious comparison to Urza, Maya He, Maya Who is her own card and has her own strengths. She's a low-cost commander with a powerful mana-generating ability and card advantages on her as well, with knowing the top card of your library obviously being a huge plus. She has access to silly combos, but can also just be a fun gruel commander, just churning out mana as they tend to do in those colours. Heck, I've seen lists of this card just running nothing but stacks pieces and ramp to go into an entwined tooth and nail, which, I mean, if you want to do that and the table's okay with it, go for it. But personally, I just wanted to make a little bit more fun and interactive deck. Which, okay, yes, runs a few stacks pieces, sue me. And that's one of the things I really like about her. It's gruel and artifacts, things that you don't normally see together. And thus you get different lists, you get different ways of building her and different interactions. Always a good sign of a well-designed commander. Now, is she as powerful as Urza? No. But I'd say she's definitely probably more fun to play. And that'll be it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. What cards would you put in our Artificer Elf? Well, let us know in the comments section below. We read every single one of them. As always, this video and all Affinity for Commander content is made possible thanks to our amazing patrons. You guys are truly awesome. If you too wish to support the channel and get access to exclusive EDH related rewards, then be sure to check out our Patreon page, link in the description box below. As always, if you like this type of content, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more just like it, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video. But that'll be it from me, guys. As always, I've been Alex, and I'll see you next time.